Hi guys, it's Paulina. So today's video is going to be a getting your license tips, Q&A, and also my experience. But I told you guys to leave me some questions on a video I posted and I got a few, so I'll be answering those first. And also I just want to say I got my license July 10th, 2015. So I've been driving for about a month and it's been great. So I'm just going to get started with the Q&A part so I don't make this video and intro too long. So anyways, I'm just going to get started. So the first question is learning to drive hard? Also, what tips do you have for passing the driver's test the first time? Learning to drive I thought would be really hard because, you know, I would always watch my mom and dad like drive, or just any adult drive, and like it would look confusing, like how they would turn the wheel so many times. I don't know, it just looked confusing to me. I thought it would be hard, but actually when you like start driving for the first time, it's like you feel the car moving. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but like you feel the direction the car is moving in. That's kind of how far to turn the wheel and stuff when you're doing a turn or whatever. You just kind of feel it. I don't know, it's just hard to explain. And passing the driver's test the first time, I would say just be very confident and don't be nervous. I know it's gonna be like really hard not to be nervous. You're probably gonna be nervous regardless. But you know, if you don't pass, you know, there's always a second time and third time. I think you get 2 more tries if you don't pass the first time. And they tell you what you did wrong and you could work on those things that you got marked off for. So you could always take another time. So it's not the end of the world if you don't pass, but just stay cool and, you know, just practice driving before. And if you're going to a DMV that you've never been to, like a city that you've never been to, make sure you practice around that area so you kind of know like what's around there, if you know what I mean. So I hope that helped. How do you feel about having your license, and do your parents let you stay out late? And by the way, I love your videos and you're super pretty. Thank you so much, Michelle. And how I feel about having my license, it's so nice how I don't have to like rely on my parents to take me places and stuff like that. Like today I took myself to my dentist appointment and was great at how I didn't have to like have my mom or anybody take me. It's just so nice, and it's gonna be so nice like driving myself to school, or like when you're hungry you could just go somewhere, or like if you want to go to a friend's house you could go to a friend's house. You know, you don't have to wait for your parents to get home from work or anything like that. It's just a really great sense of freedom. And my parents don't let me really stay out late. I just kind of stay out till 10 to 10:30. Even though curfew is 11, they want me home before then. But yeah. I'm taking my driver's test in 7 days, so what is your best advice for the test? What is one thing I should not do during the test? Help me, I'm nervous. I understand where you're coming from. I was so nervous for my test. Like literally all I did was like YouTube and Google things to help me for the test. But basically what I said earlier, just make sure you know the area of the DMV, make sure you know like what's around there, all the lights, you know, they may have like weird flashing lights, you know, make sure you study. Just drive a lot before, just relax, that's honestly key. Don't get a heavy foot during the test. Make sure you have a good breakfast before the test and drink lots of water. Things not to do, oh, and also make sure you know all the controls of your car, and also work on things that you still need kind of work on, like whether it's parallel parking. They don't make us do parallel parking in California, but if I know every like state and stuff is different, so make sure you know like what your state requires you to do on the test. Also things not to do during the test, I would say don't get a heavy foot, just stay focused on the road, look at all your surroundings, look at your blind spot, because that's an automatic fail if you don't look at your blind spot. It's just really important. Look at all the side streets, because that's 1 point off, at least here where I live, if you don't look at the side streets and stuff. So just make sure you're scanning a lot, just pay attention to everything. You know, if you see a yellow light, make sure you slow down. Don't try to zoom. Well, depending on your examiner, some may fail you if you kind of speed through the yellow light to make it, or some may like take, I think they would take a point off if you like took a sudden stop, you know. So basically just relax, it's gonna be okay. And if If you don't pass, you know, just work on the stuff that they said you didn't do good on and come back and pass. But you will pass if you believe, and just study your little handbook and make sure you know all the rules and stuff for the streets. Always look at the bike lane and all that kind of stuff. What do you have to do in order to be able to get your permit? So apparently, I live in California, so you could get your permit at 15 and a half, but my friends Adiel and Alex said in New York you have to wait till you're 16 to get your permit, which is kind of weird. But here in California, you know, like I said, every state, country, or whatever is going to be different. But in California, you have to take like a driver's education class. You could take it online, or you could go to like an actual school and take your driver's education class, which is just like all the rules of the road and like what all the lines mean and everything like that. I took mine online, like I said, and you just, when you're done, I forgot how long it took. It took probably a month, so I would recommend maybe doing it 2 months before, you know, 15 and a half if you're in California. So after you're done with your class, you'll get mailed a certificate, and when you turn 15 and a half, you could go take your permit test, and you have to wait 6 months to get your license, and also you have to have, I think, between 40 to 50 hours of driving with like your parent or an adult, and they'll sign off on the permit. And also you have to have 6 hours from like a driving school. So that's all you need. After that, you could take your license test when you're 16. I didn't do it that way just because I was kind of slacking off, and I just kind of lost track of it. But I did get my license at least when I was 16, I could say, because I did turn 17 in November, so it was kind of a couple months late, but better late than never. Are you good at driving, and is driving hard? You know, I really don't know if I'm a good driver or a bad driver or anything like that. You know, I don't think I'm a bad driver. I've seen some really bad driving on the road as I've been driving. But I don't think I'm bad. You know, I always turn on my blinker, I look at my blind spot and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say I'm a great driver or anything. Like, I really don't know. I mean, I'm a cautious driver. You know, I really don't know how to answer this, but I guess you would have to ask people that have driven with me. So yeah, and I already answered the driving is hard question, so I'm not going to repeat it. So those are all the questions I got, so I'm going to move on to kind of my experience. I'm not going to say it detailed or anything because that would be a long video. Another tip I would recommend, at least for my DMV, it gets crowded here at the Southern California DMVs, like it's insane. But you have to schedule your appointment like a month to a month and a half ahead of time. So if you live somewhere where it's busy, make sure you schedule your appointment, your driving test appointment, and that goes with your permit appointment. Make sure you schedule it like a month to month and a half before. So moving on, make sure you have for your driver's test your some sort of identification, whether it's your passport or birth certificate. Make sure you have that. Your insurance, your registration for the car, your permit, and I think that's all you need. You might want to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's all you need for the test. Moving on, make sure you get to your appointment kind of earlier. I would say like 20 minutes before. My appointment I think was at 2:30. I got there at 2:15 and I was out in the line of cars like waiting to take my test with the other lines of cars. I got there at 2:30. And then I didn't take my test till 4:30, so I waited 2 hours in that line of cars because this DMV is like always crowded. It's really annoying, but at least I passed. So make sure when you take your test you bring a lot of water and maybe some snacks to help you relax in the line of cars if your DMV is like mine and is crowded all the time. Honestly, after like a half an hour, I was like really nervous, but then after a half an hour I'm like, okay, can I take this test already? Because it was hot in the car and stuff. I was like, I want to go home. I just want to get out of here and stuff. So after a half an hour, I really just at that point didn't care anymore. Then moving on, after 2 hours have passed by, the guy was like, okay, make sure you put your car up there and just wait for me or whatever. And this guy, he wasn't my favorite person in the world. He wasn't like, I don't know how to describe this man. He was like older. He's wearing like a hat. Like, it was really hot that day. He wasn't nice, he wasn't friendly, but he wasn't mean. And some of my friends that went to that DMV got the nice guy, you know. I wanted him, but he went to the car behind me, and I got this guy, and I'm like, I never heard of this guy before. He was, I don't know, he kind of scared me, but I don't know, my mom's like, Paulina, that's just how his personality is, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, whatever, okay, I just did whatever he said to do. He's like, where's your front? Because when you do the controls, make sure you know all the controls of your car. And also make sure you don't drive in a car that you haven't been practicing in for long. Get a car that you've like been practicing in, so you're used to how it drives and stuff, because each car brakes different and stuff like that. But anyways, moving on. For the front rear defroster, I pointed to it. He's like, what does it say at the bottom of that? I'm like, front, because it has front and then rear on it. And then he's like, okay. And then like, he was just really kind of smart with me. I don't know. But anyways, I knew all the controls of the cars, you know, the windshield wipers, blah, blah, blah. So then we get on the road, and he's like, we're just driving around. Like, I felt myself like sweating. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy hates me. Like, what did I ever do to him? Like, I was honestly so, I'm like, he's probably gonna fail me, you know, just because he doesn't like me. But I was driving good, you know. I was just like, can this be over? Like, this is never ending, you know. The test, I think I was out there for 15 minutes, and you know, in California you do a reverse in a straight line. I know in the East Coast you guys do like parallel parking. I've never done parallel parking, and I'm glad. I kind of want to learn how to do it, because you know, if you go to the beach you kind of always have to parallel park there. But anyways, moving on. And basically you just go, most of the test was in the neighborhood, and this neighborhood had a lot of dips, and I had practiced in it before, so that really helped me, because I kind of knew where the dips were and stuff like that, and like all the lights coming up. And make sure you follow the speed limit. It's better to go a little slower than faster. But yeah, I was just, you know, I've been to this area before, so I was really confident. And you know, we just went through a neighborhood, left, right, you know. When you're turning right, look at your blind spot for the bike lane, and just all that common stuff, so you know, that's it. And then we got to the DMV end of test parking, and he made me count my mistakes, and some of the mistakes I didn't do that he marked me on. I feel like a lot of people say that. Like, I was scanning like all the time, like literally I was like a robot, every street scanning, and he marked me off for that. So whatever, I passed, so I'm just really happy that's over and I'll never have to see him again. But yeah, that's the end of the video. If you guys have any other questions or stuff to make you less nervous, just let me know down below and I'll answer and try to help you guys through it. But you guys will pass if you just believe in it. Just be confident in your driving. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and hope you found it helpful, and sorry if it was really long, because I feel like it is long. So I love you guys. Bye.